Hello everyone, welcome to my Sonic redesign video. Okay, it's not really a redesign, but I'm redesigning these characters as if they have clothes on. Now, the biggest reason I'm doing this is because there's some media, such as like cartoons, where there are female characters who are fully clothed while males aren't. For an example, Minnie Mouse and Daisy Duck both have dress covering most of their body, while Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck only have these one-piece clothing covering a part of their body. Another example I could think of is the Looney Tunes. Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck are butt-out naked, but the females like Lola Bunny and Tina Rosso are given clothes while the males aren't. If you can think of any other medias or cartoon shows that does this trope, let me know down in the comments. But the biggest ruler of this example is the Sonic characters, because if you look at any other females in that franchise, they're fully clothed. Like Amy Rose, Rouge, Blaze, Cream's mom, they're all fully clothed. But when Sega tried to design a female character following the male rules of clothing, it just looks... why are her tits out? So that's why I decided to challenge myself on what would the male Sonic characters would wear. Also, I'm designing this with the Sonic movies in mind, because I think it would be incredibly funny that Maddie would point out to Tom, like, did you notice that Amy is wearing clothes while the others aren't? I think it would just be something funny that the human characters would say about the Sonic characters. So for Sonic, I figured he's more laid back on his clothing options, wearing anything that is comfortable to him. Like, I can imagine in the beginning of the movie, he found these red shorts at a garage or yard sale. And then after the events of the first movie, after he gets, like, adopted by Tom and Maddie, he's given these new clothes. So for his new clothes, I gave him these spandex shorts with another pair of light shorts on top. Similar to those shorts you would see in those sports stores. And then I gave him a lightweight jacket, just to give him like a clothing on top. And for the colors, I just kept them red to match his shoes, red and white. And yeah, that's how I would imagine his clothes would be like. And now for Knuckles' clothes. I did a little bit of research on the echidnas in the Sonicverse to find out how they are clothed, but I couldn't find much apart from this character and Knuckles' grandpa from the Knuckles show. So I just did a bit of guesswork and just put in what I think Knuckles would just wear. Since Knuckles is the most brawniest character, I think it's only fitting for him to wear these sweatpants, as they are comfortable and doesn't restrict him as much. Plus, he mainly uses his fists and arms anyways, which is why I just left him shirtless. This is also one of my first time drawing Knuckles, and I just had a hard time with his head shape in general. I gave him these green and yellow colors to match his shoes, and I left those white strips in his hair because why would he stop wearing that when he has grown up in a village that does that? I'm not sure what they really represent, but I think it would be nice to have it as a detail reference for his past. Okay. Looking back on this, I should have just went back and watched the movies and taken some screenshots of when we did saw the Echidna tribe in the second movie, and I could have just drawn some inspirations from those. But then again, we're trying to work with the movie canon of this show, and I'm just trying to think of what clothes would fit Knuckles nicely. Next is Tails. I couldn't think of anything else he would wear other than overalls, mainly because he's 10. And he doesn't really fight as much, but he is good with machines, so I figured adding a lot of pockets to his overalls would make sense so he could hold a lot of other stuff that he would need. I then talked to my brother on what clothes Tails would wear, and he said it should look a little futuristic because Tails probably had access to tech and electricity in the world he lived in before meeting Sonic. Because in the movie, we only saw Tails' room briefly. So I added some buckles to the overalls, so that way it can easily turn into pants when he chooses to. I would also like to add in that all of these Sonic clothes that the characters are wearing, they all have pockets. So at least it would explain where they're pulling the emeralds out. And finally, I drew Shadow with clothes. This one was a bit difficult because Shadow is actually over-designed compared to the others. He has those red stripes on his legs and arms, and I was kind of sad that I had to cover those up. My initial idea was to make them have short sleeves, but it just didn't seem to fit him. And if I were to put a spandex top for him, it would just cover his chest fur, and it would just look off for the character design itself. For Shadow clothes, I like to think that Gunn and Gerald Robotnik had these clothes specially made to withstand Shadow's powers, like his fighting abilities and teleporting from the movies. I also put this sort of shin cover over his legs because we see him kicking a lot of Gunn's shoulders after he escapes. So I think these shin covers would have been made to withstand the force that Shadow uses them, so it doesn't hurt him when he fights, which allows him to keep fighting for longer. And there you have it. Sonic has clothes now. So I just wanted to add this in at the later end of the video because this is my first time trying to make a video, and I know that the ratio of the screen is weird, and it's because I'm using iMovie to edit this, if you guys couldn't tell. But if you guys could recommend me some like free edit app, then that would work. Because like I would like to try and use some other editing softwares to try and make a better YouTube video. So thank you for watching.